Good day to all the viewers of today's presentation. Today's presentation is about bulk cooking in India. The presentation is divided into two sections. The first section will be pictorial description of a case study. The case study has been kept anonymous because of the request received from the organization in concern. And the second part is about how do you deal with food after you have cooked it in bulk. So it is about cook chill. Cook chill and cook freeze. Cook chill and cook freeze are systems in which we quickly cool down the food to a certain temperature after cooking it, and then we store it for up to 5 days in case of cook chill and for months in case of quick freeze. But the important thing is that the cooking should be done at the absolute last minute if possible. Otherwise, it should be immediately chilled and then safely stored. I am Chef Professor Anand Mittal, Principal of IHM Meerut, at your service. This is the building, the kitchen from the outside. It's a 3-storied building which uses gravity flow mechanism. Each kitchen has the capacity to cook between 50,000 to 1 lakh midday meals per day. Cost of the kitchen was approximately 9 crores to set up, and this entire kitchen was built on donations, which is why it has not been disclosed. The kitchen from the inside, consisting of rice cauldrons, each of which cooks up to 110 kgs of rice in 20 minutes. Big boilers, like the way we have in IHM Meerut also. Sambar cauldrons cook up to 1200 liters of sambar in 2 hours. It is washed thoroughly on the second floor. Washed rice is sent down the chute to the first floor, so it works on gravity. Rice pours down into steam heated cauldrons for cooking. So there is no heavy lifting, because when we are talking about meals for 1 lakh people, a lot of raw ingredients are required. To move them from one place to the other is a bit of a exercise. This has been dealt with so efficiently in this kitchen, which is why it has been included in today's presentation. Rice pours down into steam heated cauldrons for cooking. The entire cooking process takes place on the first floor. Now, you would probably be wondering, how did all the raw material reach the second floor? So there are those trucks, delivery trucks, which have a lift. The back, the portion where all the raw ingredients are stored, are elevated and taken to the second floor. And from the second floor, there are very efficient trolleys. These trolleys are used for moving foods directly from the truck to the second floor, like the way we have in flight kitchens. Superheated steam is used to cook food instead of flame. Superheated steam plus double walled, all these boilers are double walled, and they ensure that no food gets burnt and foods gets evenly cooked. You can see the person is inserting a probe thermometer into the food, so you don't have to taste, you don't have to physically check whether the food is cooked or not. You do it scientifically with the help of probe thermometers. Once the food has reached a certain temperature, be assured it is cooked, it is thoroughly disinfected and safe for human consumption. When the cooking is finished, it is loaded into trolleys. See, you don't have to lift anything at all. Loaded into trolleys. Trolleys have got efficient coasters, efficient wheels. You can easily wheel 110 kgs of rice from one place to the other without much effort. Cooked rice is sent down the chute to the ground floor. Now that the rice is cooked, there's a chute through which the cooked rice is poured down to the ground floor. These are the chutes. It flows down the pipe into containers. There it is filled into small containers. Piping hot rice is on its way to being loaded into food vans. From the ground floor, it is then loaded into food vans. 6,000 kg rice are cooked daily. These are the raw materials arranged. Cleanliness is the key word. Whenever we are talking about bulk cooking, whenever we are talking about foods which are supposed to be served after 1 or 2 or 3 days, then the key word is cleanliness. We have to be extra clean. As you can see in this picture, everything is shining and super clean. This is how foods are stored in the kitchen, in the refrigerator. Bulk prepared foods. Washed dal and vegetables flow down the chute into the sambar cauldron on the first floor. So the tur dal was offloaded on the second floor, and it is washed and drained and picked and cleaned and then put into the chute. From the chute, it goes directly into the cauldron, into the cooking vessel. Vegetables and dals ready to be cooked. Sambar being cooked on the first floor, then the whole dal is cooked with the vegetables, and one person can easily cook for as many as 300, 400 people in 2 hours without much effort. Cooked sambar is packed and loaded into food vans. See, so efficiently using taps, and so very little lifting is required. And see the way the cooks are protectively uniformed with gloves and headgear. Now we come to the next part of the meal. The meal today was rice, sambar, and rotis. I mean, the whole lot of meals are prepared, but we took just these three as a case study. So for making rotis, there is a dough mixer. Chapati dough is mixed in the dough mixer, flour and water and a little bit maybe salt is added to it, and then it is kneaded by the machine in huge quantities. We are talking about 50,000 meals. So 50,000 meals means, if we assume that everybody would have 3 chapatis, we mean 1.5 lakh chapatis for one meal. Having kneaded the dough by the machine, it is flattened. Heavy rollers flatten the dough into thin sheets. Thin, long sheets are made of the dough using rollers, heavy rollers. Then we have this cutter, which is these cutters actually, which are fixed onto a large rolling pin. This rolling pin moves along the rolled sheet of dough and it cuts chapatis. So at any given point, we can see in the picture there are 6 cutters in one line. So every time it rolls, it cuts 6 chapatis and then 6 chapatis, and then in batches of 6. It cuts rapidly, very fast. Dough is cut into the classic round shape. Chapati is always round, classically. And then it is passed into a rotary oven. And you can see from this slide the rate at which the chapatis are being made. I would say about 50 to 60 chapatis a minute. And each chapati is perfectly cooked and puffed. The machines are made so that, and then they are quickly collected and they are served hot. This is the last slide of the case study. So the cooked chapatis are quickly collected, either served directly or packed and preserved for further use. With this, we come to an end to this case study. We will now move on to the second part of the presentation, which is cook chill and cook freeze systems. Please understand that cook chill and cook freeze are very important in today's operations, because the biggest enemy of food is time. We must never give food time so that bacteria may grow and multiply. Now, in order to prevent bacteria from growing and multiplying, we need to chill the food quickly after cooking. This is what happens at homes. At homes, we don't have a blast chiller. We don't have quick chilling procedures. But at home, we don't preserve food for 5 days. So it works, But in hotels where you have to preserve food for 3, 4, 5 days, you need to chill the food quickly. If you don't chill the food quickly, then that 1 or 2 hours or 3 hours that is required to cool down the foods, this is the danger zone. This is when the food is susceptible to spoiling. So in order to prevent this food from spoiling, it should be chilled within half an hour of being cooked. So hot food should be put in large, shallow trays and put in blast chillers. Blast chillers are chillers in which cold air is flowing in the chiller, and food gets rapidly chilled. From when the food gets chilled, it is removed from the blast chiller and kept in the refrigerator. Food is never left in the blast chiller. Food is always chilled in the blast chiller and then stored in the refrigerator. So without further ado, let us get on, please. That was an awesome presentation. There was a time when I used to cook for 10,000 people a day, and I used to pride myself, and I used to tell people that I cook for 10,000 people a day when I was in Doha, Sheraton, Qatar. Today, people are cooking for 1 lakh people a day. And as you saw in the presentation, the number of cooks, the number of chefs were very few. And everything was so automated and so well engineered that it was so easy to cook. I would now like to move on and read out the introduction of volume cooking as written by me in my book, Simply Cooking Theory and Principles, first edition, page number 264. Here goes. Catering services have been an important sector in the countries like the United States. More than 8,000 catering companies in the USA record their annual revenue of more than $7 billion. The trend has been slowly growing in India, but it has recently adopted a fast-paced growth due to many reasons. India is a country where numerous festivals and ceremonies are held in the form of important events. So, the recipe of the catering industry in such a country is worth taking a note. The catering industry in the country is finally extending its reach beyond marriages, and the Indian catering service providers are enjoying a good time. Here is an overview of the catering industry in India. The catering services industry in India has been constantly growing at an annual growth rate of 15 to 20%. In 2009, the industry attained the worth of Indian rupees 15,000 crores. The good aspect about the Indian catering industry is that it does not bear any major negative effects during the periods of recession. Initially, members of the Indian families usually took care of the different arrangements during the social gathering or an event. This trend is fast being replaced by the people's interest in hiring catering services. This often results in better arrangements and opportunity for everyone in the family to enjoy the function. You see, one of the main reasons of taking this topic up today was that I don't know what the future of the hotel industry is going to be, but I'm sure the catering industry, the industry of bulk cooking, is going to spring back in a big way. It already has. People are throwing parties, people are employing caterers, chefs have started going to villas and homes of people to cook. So the future is in catering business, and catering business is basically bulk cooking business, about which today's presentation is all about. Okay, moving on. Earlier, an event taking place in a family belonging to a particular region of India used to have cuisines preferred in that region. But the scene has changed today, all thanks to the popularity of catering service providers. Now, a wedding taking place in Punjab has a South Indian dishes on its menu. Cuisines from Gujarat, Bengal, and other Indian states are included in the menu cards all over the country. This encourages people to hire the professional catering services. It is indeed surprising to watch the growing number of hotel management and catering institutes in all parts of the country. Above all, the students are taking interest in joining the professional courses to make a career in the industry. So the future of catering industry in India is going to be even better than the present situation. Apart from social gatherings and festive occasions, the formal events, seminars, conferences, and other businesses related events consider professional catering services to add to the success of these events. Restaurant-based catering services too have improved in the country in the past few years. People who are earning well in various fields and who have started living higher standards of life prefer to choose dining venues with professional catering services. The festival season of October and November in India is among the best times for the catering companies, and October, November is just round the corner. Though the industry doesn't rest for the remaining part of the year as well. Going further, the presentation and decoration used by professional caterers further make them popular for various types of events. All of the aforesaid reasons justify the consistency in the Indian catering industry growth rate. Volume feeding may thus be broadly divided into the following three categories: profit-oriented, running on break-even, and subsidized. Let's take profit-oriented. Profit-oriented, commercial canteens, restaurants, cafes, etc., or within the premises catering to all the people, students, staff, visitors, patients, etc. Next is running on break-even. Industrial canteens, college canteens, catering to staff requirements only. And third is subsidized, serving meals as a part of employee student welfare schemes. Most institutional and industrial catering are non-profit oriented. I must also mention mobile catering. Mobile catering will also take a big leap right after the pandemic. Due to industrialization and tourism, more and more people have learned to move out of their homes on medical grounds, social obligations, for education, jobs, or just for hobby. Transport catering in areas such as road, rail, air, and sea has a number of characteristics not commonly associated with other food and beverage outlets. It usually involves the feeding of a large number of customers arriving together at a certain time and also need to be catered to at a specific, for example, on board an aircraft. The four major types of transport catering include road. Road catering has progressed from inns and taverns of the earlier days. The catering services are usually open 24 hours a day. The types of services include self-service and waiter service restaurants, roadside eateries, etc. Mobile catering on road has become extremely popular in the last decade, with catering vans commonly parked in market areas outside educational institutions and on roadsides. In fact, it is gradually becoming popular with office goers who prefer to pick up a hot packed meal for lunch instead of carrying snacky lunches or eating in office canteens every day. Mobile catering also has lower fixed and overhead costs and can therefore offer meals at lower prices to the customers. Railway catering. Railway catering may be conveniently divided into two major areas: terminal catering and in-train catering. Catering at the railway terminal usually comprises licensed bars, self-service, and waiter service restaurants, mobile trolleys, fast food, and takeaways dispensing hot and cold food and beverages. In transit catering, there are two types of service. The first is restaurant car service, where breakfast, lunch, and dinner are sold to the passengers or served to the passengers. The other type of service is the buffet, which is self-service operation in which the passengers go to the car and pick up their choice of food items from the counter. Meals on trains may be served in the restaurant cars and snacks from buffet cars. The space in a restaurant car kitchen is very limited, and there is considerable movement of the train, which causes difficulty for the staff during cooking and serving. Airline. Airline catering has increased and developed considerably over the past 20 years. It originally consisted of sandwiches and flasks of tea, coffee, and alcoholic beverages. Like the railways, airline catering falls into two major areas: terminal catering, which consists of self-service and waiter service restaurants, supplemented vending machines, and licensed bars.
The in-flight catering service varies considerably with the class of travel, type and duration of the flight, etc. The food and beverages provided are highly standardized with the meals portioned and packed by flight kitchens which are situated in close proximity to the airports. These pre-portioned packed meals are preheated before service to the passengers on board. Disposable cutlery, napkins, cups, etc. are used to cut down breakages and wastage. Flight kitchens are given contracts for supplying meals by the airlines. The provision of catering service in air travel to passengers is normally included in the price of the ticket. Fourth, cruise lines. Sea and maritime catering varies from the provision in food and beverages on short sea route ferries where the catering service does not have prominent feature, to large cruise, to passenger liners where the catering facilities are an important part in the services offered by the shipping line and are usually included in the price of the fare. On the cruise lines, the standard of catering facilities is high because they are important sales feature in competitive activities. On the short route, the price is usually the more important factor, and because of the necessity to feed large number of people, the catering service provided is usually of the popular and fast food types. Last but not the least, clubs. Clubs as a sector of the hotel and catering industry are establishments offering food and drink at and at times accommodation to members and bona fide guests. The type of clubs range from working men's clubs to the private expensive clubs. The proprietary clubs are the licensed clubs owned by the individual or company. They operate with a view to make profit. Registered clubs are those clubs whose management is responsible to an elected committee. The members own all the property, including food and drinks, and they pay their subscription to a common fund. It was very important for me to read this out. Having done this, let us now move on. I would like to explain to you a very important aspect of volume catering, which is cook chill and cook freeze. The font of the presentation is very small, so I have decided to read the whole presentation to you while I'm displaying it also. Right.
Chill is a simple, controlled system of food preparation designed to provide more flexibility in food service. The technique involves the full cooking of food followed by rapid chilling and storage at controlled temperatures for up to 5 days. When required, the food must be reheated thoroughly before service. The production system itself is simple to operate if well managed and completely safe provided the HACCP hazard analysis and critical control point guidelines on temperature control are followed. Who uses cook chill? Thousands of establishments of all types and sizes currently use cook chill systems. Anyone who has eaten at a top restaurant or hotel, at a banquet or reception, or on an airplane or ship is likely to have eaten a cooked chill meat. Will my business benefit from cooked chill? While cooked chill is commonly associated with larger institutional food service operations, New compact quick chill equipment designs have put quick chill systems within the realm of all types and sizes of food service operations. Quick chill is used in hotels, restaurants, fast food restaurants, hospitals, nursing homes, contract caterers, bakeries, corporate cafeterias, institutional cafeterias, cafe bistros, travel caterers, meals on wheels, pizzerias, in-flight catering. For large and small establishments, the principles and advantage of the system are the same. The only difference is that small to medium-sized operations do not have to invest in equipment design to deal with volume. For the simplest cook chill system, all that is required in addition to the existing cooking equipment is a blast chiller, adequate cold storage, and an understanding of the recommended safety procedures. Why do food service establishments use blast chillers? What is the need? The principal feature of blast chillers and blast freezers is that they are capable of rapidly reducing the temperature of the foods to low, safe temperatures. Therefore, they make it easier for food service establishments to comply with food safety and temperature control legislation. In fact, many establishments are using them solely for that purpose, and in doing so are actually performing a very basic cook chill operation. Using a blast chiller solely to cool cooked food rapidly for immediate or same day service is not utilizing all the benefits that a blast chiller can potentially offer. Advantages of cook chill. Cook chill is suitable for most food service operations. The system can be utilized effectively by establishments of any size or type. Effective time management. The system allows food service establishments to better organize their time. Prime cooking can take place when the business is quiet, leaving less to do when you have customers to attend to. Effective resource management. Equipment can be used more energy efficiently while ingredients can be bought in larger quantities, providing economies of scale. You can also prepare meals for several establishments from one kitchen. Menu extension. The flexibility of the system allows you to prepare a greater selection of dishes, offering your customers more choice while still maintaining or improving quality. In addition, since you are preparing meals in advance, you can afford to experiment on a variety of different recipes. No modification of recipes. A cook chill system allows you to use most recipes without alteration. Improvement in service. Because most food will be prepared in advance, the food service operator will have more time to improve on presentation and attend to customers. Flexibility in service. Because all dishes simply have to be reheated before service, operators can serve a wide variety of food all day and can easily cope with the fluctuating numbers of customers throughout the day. Reduced waste and improved portion control. Portions can be made up precisely and meals can be rethermalized as needed, eliminating waste. Increased profitability. Cookchill can make your operation more efficient while offering customers greater choice and better service. You will be able to cope with larger number of customers and at short notice. This will result in increased turnover and profitability. Fantastic opportunity for expansion. If the meal turnover of your business is limited by the number of meals you are presently able to cook and serve, Cookchill is a fast way to increase your capacity without necessarily expanding your kitchen or employing extra staff. What is the system of Cookchill? What you will need? If you are already serving hot food, the only additional equipment you will require for a small to medium sized Cookchill operation is an appropriately sized blast chiller. You will also need a suitable reach-in or walk-in refrigerator for the storage of finished product. As with any cooking operation, a cook-chill system requires care to ensure that food does not become exposed to harmful bacteria. Staff should, therefore, be given specific training on the cook-chill operation in addition to basic food hygiene training. Your equipment supplier should be able to help you with this. It is easiest to view a cook-chill system as a series of stages. Each of these should be regarded as equally important to guarantee food safety and good quality dishes. Number 1, selection of raw materials. 2, storage of raw materials. 3, preparation. 4, cooking. 5, portioning. 6, blast chilling. 7, storage of chilled foods. 8, distribution of chilled foods. 9, rethermalizing or reheating of food. And 10, service. These are the 10 steps in the journey of food. How the cook-chill system works. Number 1, selection of raw materials. If raw materials are below standard when you buy them, they are not going to improve with cooking. It is vital, therefore, that you check your supplies and, if necessary, check on your suppliers' handling and distribution methods. The second, storage of raw materials. Having purchased top quality raw materials, it makes sense to keep them in proper storage and in top condition before they are needed. This means following basic food safety principles to ensure that the appropriate temperature and humidity levels are met. Third, preparation. Again, basic food safety principles apply. Separate surfaces and separate utensils should be used for the preparation of raw fish, meat, and poultry to prevent cross-contamination. Ideally, food preparation should take place in an area separate from the cooking and post-cooking. If some raw materials arrive in a frozen condition, they should be thoroughly thawed out before use. We recommend a Victory-controlled thawing cabinet for this purpose. Rapid high-temperature thawing can encourage the growth of pathogens and may leave cold spots at the core of the food. For this reason, we do not recommend thawing products with a microwave oven unless the oven is specifically designed to ensure thawing. In order to make chilling more efficient after cooking, beef or packs of meat should be not more than 5.5 pounds or measure more than 4 inches in thickness. The best way to thaw foods is to keep them in the refrigerator properly covered for as much as 24 hours depending upon the thickness size of the food. But meat should never be thawed at room temperature or under running water. Point number 4, cooking. Whatever the food product you are cooking, and by whatever method, it is essential that the core temperature of the food reaches at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit and is held at this temperature for at least 2 minutes. This is important. This is to ensure that any pathogenic microorganisms that may be present are destroyed. To check the core temperature of food, use a probe thermometer. Check the accuracy of this and any other thermometers used every 3 months. You will not find it necessary to modify your usual recipes for a cook-chill system. Fifth point, portioning. Once the food is cooked, the chilling process must start as soon as possible and at most within 30 minutes. This leaves time for portioning prior to chilling. However, handling of food should be kept to a minimum. Meals can be portioned from individual components after chilling. Usually, the ideal containers for chilling food should be no more than 2.5 inches deep. Other containers may only be used if the blast chiller is capable of chilling the food to the required temperature in the required time. Note also that some containers are made of materials which can insulate the food, thereby affecting chilling times. If disposable containers are used, it is essential that they have been stored under proper hygienic conditions. Point number 6, rapidly chilling. You can see a blast chiller on the left. Whatever the type of blast chiller you use, it should be capable of chilling the food between 33 degrees Fahrenheit and 38 degrees Fahrenheit within 2 to 4 hours of placing the hot food in the blast chiller and commencing the blast chill cycle. This is not only to ensure safety but also preserve the appearance, texture, flavor, and nutritional value of the food. Your blast chiller should be equipped with a food probe or probes which you can monitor the temperature of the food during freezing. Large pieces of meat, etc. may not chill as quickly as required. In this case, the meat should be portioned while hot and then chilled. Alternatively, the temperature of the meat should be reduced to 50 degrees Fahrenheit or below within 150 minutes and then portioned before final chilling to 33 degrees Fahrenheit and 38 degrees Fahrenheit. The speed at which chilling takes place will be affected by the shape, size, and density of the food, its moisture content, heat capacity, and entry temperature. Therefore, placing lids on containers or stacking them on top of one another will increase the chilling time. However, covering food can protect against contamination and is thus sometimes appropriate as long as chilling can be achieved within the time limits. Seventh point, storage of chilled foods. Blast chilled food should be stored immediately in a chilled storage cabinet at a temperature between 33 degrees Fahrenheit and 38 degrees Fahrenheit in order to control growth of microorganisms. Ideally, you should use a reach-in or walk-in cooler designed for chilled food storage and use it solely for your cook-chill products. Refrigerators not capable of holding the chilled food below 40 degrees Fahrenheit are not suitable. Chilled food may be kept under the above conditions for up to 5 days. To ensure that products are not allowed to go over this time span and are therefore not wasted, a system of stock rotation should be employed. The simplest method is perhaps to use color-coded tablets, labels, a different color for each day, with a use by date, production date, and product description marked on each label. A first in, first out policy should be used. If for any reason the food in store or during distribution reaches a temperature over 40 degrees Fahrenheit but not more than 50 degrees Fahrenheit, the food should be consumed within 12 hours. Should any food in the store exceed its expiration date or reach a temperature over 50 degrees Fahrenheit, it should be thrown out as it will be unfit for human consumption. Point number 8, distribution. If you intend to operate a cook chill system in one location and supply one or more other locations, food must be transferred to the other site while still in their chilled state. The use of refrigerated vehicles is recommended, or at the very least, pre-chilled insulated containers for short journeys. If chilled food is being transferred to other sites, it must not only be transported at the correct temperature, but on arrival, it must also be placed in appropriate refrigerated cabinets until required. Point number 9, reheating. Cooked and chilled foods that are to be eaten cold or at room temperature should be consumed within 30 minutes after removal from storage. If the food is to be reheated, rethermalized, this should start no more than 30 minutes after the food is removed from chilled storage. Reheating must take place close to the point of consumption, just before service. Appropriate reheating equipment includes forced air steam convection ovens and special chill reheat carts. Traditional types of hot air ovens may be used, but care must be taken to ensure that exposed areas of food do not become dehydrated. Commercial microwave ovens may be used, and we recommend that these for the rethermalization of individual or small numbers of meals. Ideally, of course, it is preferable to install matching rethermalization equipment. In order to ensure the destruction of any pathogens present, the core temperature of the food must reach at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit, please note, and be held at this temperature for at least 2 minutes. To check that the temperature has been reached, insert a probe thermometer into the slowest heating point, usually the center. Last but not the least, the 10th point, service. Once food has been reheated to the required temperature, it should be consumed as soon as possible and preferably within 15 minutes of reheating. The temperature of the food should not be allowed to fall below 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Equipment. Equipment for rapid chilling. What is the equipment required for rapid chilling? There are two common methods of rapid chilling. Number 1, using a mechanical blast chiller which recirculates low temperatures at a high velocity, low temperature air at a high velocity. And number 2, immersion of packed products in a suitable refrigerated liquid. Mechanical chillers are by far the most widely used and convenient for food service operators. There are two common types of mechanical chillers: roll-in models, These chillers are suitable for higher volume operations and can accept one or more complete carts of food products. Reach-in models. These smaller blast chill models are suitable to operate with space constraints, lower production requirements, and to accommodate trays of food. Features to look for. Whatever the type of blast chiller you choose, it must be capable of reducing the temperature of a 2-inch layer of food from 160 degrees Fahrenheit between 33 degrees Fahrenheit and 38 degrees Fahrenheit within 2 to 4 hours when fully loaded. It must also feature an accurate temperature display, preferably with a built-in food probe featuring digital display. Digital and audible timers are also useful features. Upon completion of the blast chill cycle, the machine should automatically change over to a storage mode 33 degrees Fahrenheit or to 38 degrees Fahrenheit until the blast mode cycle is required again. This enables the operator to put in one load before going home at night and remove the chilled product first thing in the morning. When selecting a blast chiller, be sure that its capacity is sufficient to match peak production requirements so that rapid chilling can begin within 30 minutes after cooking. For the same reason, the blast chiller must be located near enough to the cooking area to allow for this time limit to be met. Make sure that the model you choose is compatible with the electrical supply that you have. The best equipment is usually made from stainless steel. You should also look for a good seal around the door. A poor seal is inefficient, causing the consumer to utilize excess energy. This will naturally generate costly electric bills. Pay close attention to the design. It should be possible to have easy access to the evaporator compartment to permit cleaning. Look for removable shelf sides and racking. Cabinets with these features are easier to clean. Automatic defrost and evaporation are recommended features to look for when choosing a machine. Choosing the right blast chiller for your operation. Choose the blast chiller according to the size of your production. To find out which model is the most suitable for your operation, consider the type of food you will be using the unit for, as well as the volume of food you will need to produce. When calculating volumes, remember that you may be producing meals for consumption over 5 days. It is also wise to allow a little extra capacity than you require at the present time in order to allow for the expansion of your business. Storage refrigerator. Storage refrigerator is different from the blast chiller. The storage refrigerator used for holding pre-cooked chilled food should be designed and used specifically for that purpose. Reach-ins equipped with tray sides are available to hold up to 400 meals. An ordinary commercial refrigerator that is general use with the kitchen is not suitable. Steps must be taken to ensure that possible cross-contamination between raw foods or other cooked food products and stored chilled food does not occur. The store must be capable of holding products at a constant temperature of between 33 degrees Fahrenheit and 38 degrees Fahrenheit, and this should be indicated clearly by a visible temperature readout. The unit should also feature an audible alarm which will alert you if the storage temperature reaches unacceptable levels and a temperature recording device. When selecting storage equipment, allow for sufficient capacity to cope with peak production as well as capacity for an efficient stock rotation system. Storage equipment will need to be located in an area that allows for easy access and must be sufficiently close to the blast chiller to ensure that food arrives at the store while still at the optimum chill temperature. Important. Make sure your cooking, chilling, and storage equipment are all compatible with the containers that you use. Now, what is cook freeze? A cook freeze system involves the full cooking of food followed by rapid freezing and storage of food in a frozen state before thorough thawing and reheating prior to service. For a cook freeze system, therefore, you require a blast freezer rather than a blast chiller, suitable storage for frozen foods, and preferably a controlled thawing cabinet. Note: frozen food storage cabinets are often loosely referred to as freezers. However, their purpose is specifically to store pre-frozen food, not to freeze hot foods. For details of the cook freeze procedure, refer to the chart shown earlier, which deals with cook chill and cook freeze. Nutritional information. Cooking food results in the loss of some nutrients and hence can be further steady loss while the food is kept chilled. However, the HACCP guidelines on cook chill and cook freeze procedures are followed closely. The loss of nutrients from food should be no greater than those from other conventional cooking systems. Then we come to the end of this presentation. We will end with a few terms, glossary. The first term is blast chiller. A blast chiller is a mechanical unit designed to chill hot food rapidly. It works by recirculating low temperature air to high velocity. Blast freezer. A mechanical unit designed to freeze hot food rapidly. Chill chain. The whole process of maintaining strict temperature control throughout receipt, preparation, processing, storage, and distribution of food to control the growth of microorganisms. Food core. The temperature within an item of food or dish. The internal temperature. Temperature taken at the slowest heating point, normally the center. Pathogenic microorganisms. All foods contain a certain level of organisms or bacteria which can carry disease if allowed to multiply to large numbers. Cooking food kills them, while keeping food below certain temperatures limits their growth. Consequently, a cook-chill system is a good way of maintaining food safety, as it both kills bacteria and limits any further growth. Probe. A probe is a thermometer that is inserted into a food product to record the inner temperature. With that, we come to an end. Thank you.